everyone. So I am back again today to do another tag. I am sorry that I've been doing so many tags lately, but I am still actually a little bit sick, so I have sort of been a little bit behind on my video schedule. But this time I'm going to be doing the 2019 writing wrap-up tag. I saw this tag originally on Rob C. Wright's channel, but it was originally created by L.R. Rutherford. I will link to both of them in the description below. I just saw this and I thought it seemed fun, so I decided to give it a go. So there are 7 questions, and I will also have the questions in the description if you would like to do this tag as well. I probably won't tag anybody because I always feel very shy in regards to tagging people. I don't know why, but if you would like to do it, there they are in the description, and yeah, let's get to it. Question number 1. Did you participate in Camp NaNoWriMo or NaNoWriMo this year? If so, how did it go? So I actually did both, or at least one Camp Nano and then NaNoWriMo. So I failed horribly at Camp Nano. This was actually my first year participating in Camp Nano because I have been doing NaNoWriMo for years, but it was a really stupid misunderstanding that I had over Camp Nano and what it was, because I actually thought it was a literal camp that you would go to, like a summer camp, but for writing. And looking back on it, it's so stupid because obviously that wasn't what it was, but I just was like, oh, okay, it's like a writing retreat. I probably can't do that, so I just never bothered to look into it. It was just a really stupid thing, so I just literally never paid attention to anything Camp NaNoWriMo until this year. And then I basically realized it was the same as NaNoWriMo, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, and I've been missing out on it for years. And so I sort of spontaneously did it, I think about 2 weeks before the last Camp Nano of the year, and I was really unprepared. I basically spontaneously decided to pick an older project of mine, which didn't totally work out because I hadn't worked on this project in several years, so I needed to reread all the stuff that I had done and go through and do a ton of work that just I didn't have a chance to do in time. So I got pretty far. I did a few thousand words, but I ended up having to drop out after only a week and a half. So it was pretty sad, especially considering that's the first NaNoWriMo thing that I have actually not completed. So I'm still kind of sad about that. I wish I had known a little bit sooner and done it again. This year, I am going to, for sure, do more Camp Nanos, I guess next year. And then for NaNoWriMo, I did really well, and I had a really good NaNoWriMo this year, so that was kind of nice. It was refreshing, but hopefully next year it will be even better. Question number 2, what was your writing schedule or routine for this year? Okay, so this one, I started off the year because, so essentially the year before this one, so 2018, was a really good year that ended up being a really, really crappy year for me. So in the last couple months of 2018, I made a point of saying, I'm going to get my crap together. I am going to try and focus and get more stuff done, and also turn more inwards and work on myself and my own projects, because a lot of times I let that stuff kind of get on the back burner, and I was like, no, this year we are going to make a point of actually getting shit done. So in that last couple of months, of November and December of that year, I had actually made myself a full writing schedule and a whole thing. So I don't even totally remember what I did because I ended up going off of that schedule, which I will explain in a second. But I had it worked out where certain days I would work on certain things for a certain amount of time, and then it was basically one day on, one day off. So I would do art one day, writing the next, art one day, writing the next. And that actually worked really, really well for me. And I also started using a hour tracker. The app I use is literally called Hours, to help me keep a idea of how much I was working, because I wanted to do a full 8-hour day, kind of no matter what. So I ended up working on several different things. Mostly this year, I was trying to get my magic system, figured out, which unfortunately, still not done. I have rewritten it now several times, and I've thrown out quite a few other versions because I'm still trying to iron out the bugs, because it's kind of an important thing and I don't really have it done. So I would work on that one day. I would work on a story another day. I've also been trying to get all of my own notes and everything organized. So it's sort of a one day on, one day off thing. And it worked pretty well. And I actually was on that routine up until late spring. I made it most of the way, but the thing is, it was like the last couple of weeks of spring, I found out that I was going to be going to my first convention, and I spontaneously decided that I was also going to cosplay for that convention and make a costume for every single one of the days. So I essentially had just a few months to make 3 costumes, and I have never made costumes before, and I also had not really made full-size clothes before. I made doll clothes, but that's not the same thing. So I kind of had to drop everything else that I was doing in order to get all of this other stuff done, because that essentially was my entire summer, was just in my room, sewing like crazy, maybe weeping on a regular basis, who knows? But yeah, and that sort of consumed my whole summer up until I went. And then I was basically gone for a month on that trip, visiting my friend. And when I came back, I was just kind of tired and I needed a break from the constant work that I had been doing for the rest of the year. So I sort of took it easy, and then kind of NaNoWriMo happened, and then now we're in December, and I've sort of taken another break in December because I just needed to recover a little bit from Nano because I did a lot. So it sort of got a little bit patchy towards the end, but the beginning of this year, I completely kicked ass as far as keeping up a schedule. It was basically the first half of the year I did basically most of my writing. I would really like to get back to it this year. I'm hoping to do a similar thing, but actually stick to it over the summer. Now that I have other costumes made, if I decide to go to another convention, at least I can do that more on the side as opposed to having to drop everything. Question number 3, who or what has been your inspiration for this year? So I feel like this year, a lot of my inspiration has been other YouTubers and my friends, and that's kind of a lame answer, but a lot of my friends have actually been getting a ton of stuff done, and it sort of helped motivate me to do more of my own stuff. And it's sort of, yeah, that's basically it. A shorter answer on that one. Number 4, how did you better yourself as a writer? So first of all, I learned a lot about technical writing this year, because how I am writing my magic system is I am writing essentially a how-to manual. So it's almost like a cookbook, which was sort of a very helpful way of writing it down, because it essentially can be referenced later. So when I need to go in and figure out how to do something, I just sort of look it up as if I was looking up a recipe. But it did force me to get kind of good at that, or at least arguably good at it. There are obviously people who are better. I'm just okay. But that I definitely improved a lot in. And I also feel the other way that I improved a lot this year is I feel like I have learned how to write more consistently. But other than that, I'm not sure if there's anything that has really drastically changed, because I'm sort of at this part where I'm just trying to finish things. So it's kind of a weird stage in my life, I guess. Number 5, what was the best writing advice you received? So I am not totally sure that I have an answer to this one this year. Again, I sort of turned a lot of my focus inwards. So instead of trying to learn a ton of new information, the last few years, I have basically just been doing nothing but taking as many free online classes as I can and reading as many books and doing all of that. So this year I sort of took a little bit of a break from that and took a step back. So if you had asked me this question last year, I probably would have had an easy answer. But this year, I'm not sure anybody really gave me any writing advice, as stupid as that is. So I'm not even sure that I have an answer for it. I might add something in a second if I can think of something, but I literally think that I did not really get any writing advice this year, except for the standard just kind of sit down and get it done kind of writing advice that most people have. So I don't know. I feel like this one, I don't have much of an answer for, which is kind of funny. Number 6, what are writing projects that you have accomplished this year? I have not really finished any of the projects that I've been working on this year. I have done big things, but I'm not really sure that I would say that I've like actually finished anything. I've worked a lot on my magic system, so I have a ton of that done, which is really good, because it's a pivotal thing for what I'm working on, so it's important that I get that done. And I did do some major rewrites on some older work of mine, and this year for NaNoWriMo, me and my writing partner also went in and like completely set everything up in our current story to be finished. So I would say that's a really big achievement, and I'm really proud of that. But so far I haven't really finished anything this year. I'm sort of working on that. I'm hoping this next year will be the year that I do all the finishing and accomplish a lot more. Yeah. So last question is number 7. What mistakes have you made and how have you learned from them? So definitely, maybe the biggest mistake that I made this year was my Camp Nano. That was just a total disaster. And I definitely have learned that I don't necessarily need to plan out a novel before I take on a challenge like that, but I do need to know a couple months ahead of time so I can at least think about it and do some of the like other prep work ahead of time. I've just learned that I have to do that. And I sort of wish that I had done a little bit better with that, because I think I could have done a better job and been a little bit more consistent and everything. And the other mistakes that I've made, again, would be probably a lot to do with my magic system, where I wish I had taken the time to essentially like draw out diagrams, and this might sound really weird, but to draw out diagrams for what I was actually trying to do, so that when I got to that point where I was writing it, I had a little bit more of a blueprint for what I was actually trying to say. I feel like I spent a lot of time writing stuff down that had to be thrown out because I was sort of going on a tangent trying to understand what I wanted, when I should have figured out what I wanted in a simpler form before I actually started writing. So yeah, I would say those are 2 very big things, but other than that, I really did not make a whole lot of mistakes this year, except in general, just not working as much as I would have liked. Like, I got so much done over that last bit of winter and spring that I feel like I did a lot this year, that I don't feel like bad about the amount that I worked, but I do sort of wish I had been able to keep up my stricter writing routine. But I am glad that I went to the convention, so it was sort of like a trade-off thing where sometimes I have to leave my cave and actually interact with other people, as rare as those opportunities are. But I sort of wish I had gotten a little bit more work done, or at least in the meantime gotten more things organized, which is going to be the death of me because I never get anything organized. But yeah, it was a pretty okay year. It was a pretty okay year. I think it was maybe my most productive year in a while, just because essentially I have been working all year long except for this most recent month, and partly that was because I was sick for like 2 weeks, so I physically couldn't work on anything. But yes, if you do this tag, let me know. I would like to see what other people say about this, and I hope that you all have a wonderful last couple days of the year. I'm gonna try and get maybe one more video in before the next year. There is going to be a double posting on the first week of the new year, because I have the vlog for this month, but I just didn't want to start next year off on a vlog, so I decided to post my vlog like that Sunday, but do an early video on the 1st. So hopefully that will work out. I am out of footage for my videos right now. So I'm hoping that I will actually be able to even do this because I don't even have any footage ready. I need to do 2 paintings in like 5 days and I don't know if I can do it. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next video though, and Happy New Year. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year's. Goodbye. And thank you so much for watching my videos. It means a lot to me.